One 8-unit apartment complex can bring you almost $2 million worth of tax incentives, cash flow, and equity in one project if you know these 4 steps to build a small 8-unit multifamily apartment complex. What I love most about building small multifamily, and most people don't really understand all the avenues of why it's so advantageous. And the biggest mistake most people make is they're focusing on the wrong asset class and they're focusing their time and energy in the wrong business. Look, the reason that I've always built commercial assets is because of the tax incentives that go along with the profitability and the cash flow. But most people don't understand that there's 5 different ways to earn on every single commercial asset that you buy, build, hold, and invest with long term. And so let's run through this step by step on what it takes to build a small 8-unit apartment complex in all 5 advantageous areas of how you actually go in and generate capital long term and large profitability and still take advantage of the tax incentives that you have owning assets that you can depreciate and write off through what's called cost segregation. Let's talk about the step-by-step process. Now, when I go in, I just look for lots. I do a lot of adaptive reuse. So number 1 is just finding and sourcing a lot. Most people get caught up on what size lot they need. It's not about what size lot you need. It's about the density that you can get in a given area. What's great about an 8-unit apartment complex is that there's very few municipalities that aren't going to allow them based on density and zoning because it's such a small density improvement in any neighborhood. So it's not like going in and even trying to get 20 units or in excess of 15 units where there's zoning parameters that don't allow residential components to have high density. So what's great about little 8 units and 10-unit apartment complexes is that it's not real hard to find the land because every commercial property has a residential component to it. And not only does it have a residential component to it, but it's easier to down zone that property than it is to up zone. So you can always take it from commercial back down to residential and get the density you need. It doesn't have to do with the size of the lot, more so the zoning and how many units per acre you can get. So you can back into it based on the zoning that's already there to see if it's adequate for what you're doing. Now you've sourced your lot. So we have the lot that we're going after in the area that we need. Now, average rents across the United States are on average $1,750 per month with a mixture of 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units. Now, don't bank on that number. Call a small property management company in your local area. Let them know that this is a product that you're going to be pulling out of the ground and that you respect their company and what they do as a property management company. Compliment them for the properties they manage and the great job that you notice that they do, and talk to them and ask them to partner with you as the property management team. They'll give you the data on current rent rates in that area. When they do so, you can underwrite the project. So for sake of example, 8 units, $1,750 per month, multiplied by 12 is $21,000, multiplied by 8 units is $168,000 per year in gross income potential that property has. If the properties are functioning after paying property taxes, insurance, and maintenance at 75% and 25% expenses, you take that 25% expenses, subtract it from your gross income, that's going to give you your net income. That's called your net operating income. If you divide that net operating income by your cap rate, which is your rate of return on that asset. Now, we have to have a rate of return that can at least afford to pay the debt. So when we pay the debt, let's say we have a 6% interest rate. Well, we need a 6% cap rate. So we're going to take that $126,000, we're going to divide that by 6%. That gives us a value of $2.1 million. We can cover the debt service on that property, plus we cover all of our expenses. The rest of that goes to you, to your bottom line. If you want to learn how to develop and evaluate multifamily, whether it's small multifamily or large multifamily, drop me the word multifamily at 505-560-0520. And let's start building multifamily today, and let's go ground up. Now, it's only going to be about a modest $35,000 to $40,000 per year in passive income. Now, it's not a lot of income, but it's still tax-free income. How is it tax-free income? Well, let's go to number 3. Number 2 is we underwrite the project. That simple underwriting gives you the viability of that project. If the project is viable and it pencils and you sit back and go, okay, I can afford this. This is going to make me some money. Now we go in and we subtract the land to be able to cost segregate the asset and do what's called bonus depreciation. Now, what's cool about this is that pre 2024, before the Trump administration, it was a stair step of cost segregation that was disappearing slowly, where for 2 years it was 100%, then 80%, then 60%, then boof, it's gone. Now it's a permanent cost segregation world of 100% within the first calendar year. So now we use a cost segregation company that if you want access to, just DM me, cost segregation, and I'd be happy to share with you who we utilize for cost segregation and why we utilize them as a tax professional. Because a lot of this isn't taught in school. Even when you go to school as an accountant, cost segregation and cost segregation studies are not taught in accounting school. So when we go back in, you need a cost segregation professional that understands this from an accounting perspective and an investment perspective to actually break down the true value of that asset, subtracting out the land. And now if the land theoretically is $200,000 for the cost of the land for this 8-unit apartment complex, you're going to have $1.9 million left in the value of that asset. Now, the goal is to depreciate it. And what they're doing is they're taking this countertop, and this countertop every day is losing value. It's disintegrating and depreciating every day. This cabinet is depreciating every day. The paint on these walls is depreciating every day. The wood on my ceiling is depreciating every day. This light fixture is depreciating every day. This flooring is depreciating every day. And collectively, the property goes to zero. All we're doing is we're accelerating that depreciation and taking it all on year number 1. Now, we take the $1.9 million of remaining asset value, we take it down to zero, giving you a tax break until you earn $1.9 million of net taxable revenue in whatever you're doing. Building houses, building apartments, working a full-time job as a firefighter, as a nurse, as a clerk at the grocery store, as a police officer, as an accountant, as a CPA, as a doctor, whatever it is you're doing, you don't pay federal income taxes on that money until you earn $1.9 million. Not only that, you cash flow. So we have the bonus depreciation, we're cash flowing, we have our cash on cash return of $35,000 to $40,000 a year. We have our cost segregation study, we're depreciating our asset. We have equity in this asset. So now, let's say for sake of example, we have $600,000 of equity that we built into this asset just by simply building it. Now, the banks aren't going to allow us to take all $600,000 out of it, but we can go in and we could take a portion of that out at 80% loan to value. So if $200,000 is left over on the value of the asset, we can take that $200,000 out, utilize it tax-free. That does not go against your cost segregation money because it's not earned income. It's a loan from the equity that you hold in the property, but it's still a loan, which makes it sweet because you still have your cash flow, you still have your cost segregation study, you still have your cash out, and you still own the equity in that asset. And here's what's cool. The fifth thing is that asset value is going to continue to grow. As the asset value continues to grow, and as cap rates go down, values go up. And so if the value of this asset goes up to $3 million and you have an equity stance in there, you can cash out that equity again at a lower interest rate and a cash out refinance 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years down the road, yet pulling out another $500,000 to $600,000 or more tax-free, and you still own the asset, you're still cash flowing, you still got your cost segregation, you still have your original cash out, you got your new cash out, and property continues to pay month over month, year after year as a long-term investment hold on your asset. Ladies and gentlemen, owning this little tiny 8-unit apartment complex can, yes, make you a millionaire with one 8-unit apartment complex, and banks are lending on this. These are assets that continue to cash flow. They're simple little builds, and anybody can get into them that understands that it's the same build if you're building a single family home or an 8-unit apartment complex, but you have to understand the small in and out steps and processes and the values that they bring to the actual development from the front end so you can underwrite this for long-term hold, stability, cash flow, and ultimately net worth. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on repeat for the second, third, or fourth time, put hashtag repeat so I know that this content is getting ingrained in your brain. If you want to learn how to build these projects step by step, then comment the word build down below, but comment, engage, and pound that thumbs up button, but click and subscribe for more content just like this and go out and compound your success.